Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys. On this channel, we do conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about Krysten and Mitch of Married at First Sight, Season 15 in the great city of San Diego. So, listen, if this is your first time, we got a thing around here. If you're going to watch past this, hit that subscribe, hit that like, request notifications.
And share.
And if you're part of the squad and you're back, what up, y'all? All right. So Krysten and Mitch.
Like. Please like.
Oh, yeah.
You got to like it.
Yeah, definitely got to like. That algorithm, help us help it. Hit that like. All right. Definitely. So Krysten meets with one of her friends. And just talking, how things are going. And they have different viewpoints on clutter.
She called it like domesticity or something she says. I was like, I've never heard of this before. Okay. So we're saying Urban Dictionary messy.
Trashy. Yeah. Because he keeps bringing stuff into the house because he does not want to throw it away.
No, he'd be finding this. It's already thrown away, right?
Right. But that from her, she's like, he's bringing stuff into the house because he doesn't want it to be thrown away. And the friend is like,
is he a hoarder?
Yeah. Is he going to be on Hoarders? Yes.
I'm like...
I think his conservation is hoarding as well.
Or is he trying to cover up hoarding under
conservation?
Conservation. I'm not sure. But if it's out there, someone else can find it. There's people who love antique stuff. But it doesn't have to be you. I'd be like, babe, it doesn't have to be you.
I had this flashback. I'm sorry.
What flashback?
My dad.
He was a conservationist.
No, he was not a conservationist. But he would sometimes find interesting things and he'd be like, I'm gonna hold on to this, right? Now, our house was not like full of just junk, but there were some things that was like, I don't know where he got it from, and just the immediate thing it was like almost like a coat of arms, like a knight's helmet, and it was like a coat of arms thing. I don't know what it was, but when we were talking about that, I would just have that immediate flashback. So I don't know if my dad was undercover, but
well, my stepfather would find hubcaps and bring home
hubcaps.
Hubcap will fall off your car, end up on the side of the road. Don't match any of their cars.
Some of these folks don't know what hubcaps are.
That's what I'm explaining. It would cover the wheel.
Right.
It's a wheel cover.
Before there was rims.
Because there's still cars that make with hubcaps.
Are there?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think wheels are standard.
I don't know.
Depending on the car.
I've not seen a hubcap in a long time on a new car. I've not seen a hubcap at all.
I don't pay attention. But anyway.
Because you used to have hubcaps popping off all the time.
Yes.
I've not seen hubcaps just laying around anymore.
And I thought his thought process was like, well, I can sell it because somebody's missing a hubcap.
True.
So, but it seemed like it never got sold. The whole basement.
Yeah.
Turned into.
Sorry, we just went down this tangent because we're kind of dumbfounded at Mitch just bringing everything into the house.
Well, not me, because we talked about what this could lead to, like all these very extraordinary parts of himself.
Yes.
And so I get why she feel like this could be
a little
concerned.
Because she don't want her house to turn into his house.
Correct.
Because she even tells her friend, you got to see that stove.
I would think I would share that.
Not if you plan on staying with him. If you know you're breaking up, you're like, girl, listen, that stove, that's deal breaker number one. Ain't cooking on that.
It'd be like somebody, he come over the house and like, I brought some food over, and friends start to eat it, and she got, don't eat that.
It's like looking at it, you get E. coli. You walk in his house, got airborne E. coli and salmonella.
I don't know. We are just laughing today, boy. Keep going.
So anyway, they have their party, and they're trying to figure out what they do. She's like, oh, we can do a nice French theme, do charcuterie boards. He's like, nope, I want to do zombie apocalypse. I want to do communism, what the earth will look like in the future.
I can see why he's scared. It's been a scary couple of years.
So they settle on retrofuturism. In other words, let's imagine that we're in the 50s thinking of what life would be like in the 2023 20s.
I like her spirit because she outthinks him to
That's not
get to
hard.
to get
That's
to a
not hard
balance.
at all.
To get to a balance, she
Yes.
outthinks him to get to balance.
So her friend does also is like, okay, does he know your secret? Dun dun dun.
I was like, what?
In other words, her previous engagement.
Yeah, I was really taken back that her previous relationships thought she was the red flag
Mhm.
because the scumbag decided to cheat on her after asking to engage,
Mhm.
and she spent her money on the wedding that she couldn't get her money back.
Yes.
So I was like, that is very
It's kind of weird that you would blame the
yes,
victim because she was the victim of him cheating, right?
right,
You would blame the victim and say that it's her fault when he could have very well had a conversation, but like, this isn't working for us.
correct,
And then now, if she was a serially engaged, and uh, of all of them, every time something went wrong, then yeah, you could look at her and say something may not be all right there.
correct.
But one story of one
One
engagement,
engagement,
that was a long-term relationship.
correct.
So
So I was like, wow, for her to feel so wanting to be guarded about this
mhm,
because of how other relationships has gone. I was like, oh my goodness, you're
yeah,
really not meeting the right people.
at all.
But she decided that she felt it was important.
Mhm,
And to me, this is the best time to act the fool in 8 weeks.
yeah.
Like, show your worst self
Hmm.
and see if the person is willing to stick around long enough for you to
Yep.
apologize, to do better, to realize to see yourself on camera. Like, I didn't really know that I really could act
Hmm.
out like that,
Yep.
and see if they stay with you. Because I would hate for you to be a fool off camera and then they decide not to stay with you because they didn't experience, just like we kind of shared in the
Yeah.
Lindy and
In
Miguel.
fact, go watch the Lindy Miguel video.
Check it out.
So she does end up telling him about the previous engagement because her friend is like, look, tell him, because if he run, and then from there, right? So she talks to him about it, and he's okay with it. He
Hmm.
says it was kind of weird to go to the wedding destination without the groom. I'm sorry.
I would have said, oh, wow, how courageous of you to continue to go. And then you could have asked more questions, like, but obviously you want her to finish her story.
Right.
But that would have been the first thing that come out of my mind.
Right.
Like, that's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird.
That's strange.
Because I'd be like, go ahead, girl. You celebrated the bravery to continue on after you spend all this money.
Hmm.
So she did kind of look at him side eye. She's like, well, let me finish. Because it
Hmm.
wasn't weird at all.
Hmm.
We were going to go on this trip. So,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that he's like, but I like you.
Right. He's like, he's not fazed by it.
I'm not fazed by this.
So then they have their party.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a bad wig on, thinking that he's James T. Kirk from Star Trek or whatever. And she's an alien.
Mm.
So they're coming in, but she's like, I just think he was doing way too much. And she's like, she's anxious for the next party that she plans because she's like, I gave in to this. This is just too much. Because they were going to do Jello shots, and they were going to do single-use plastic cups. He's like, nope, take them things back. And they got like little metal ones that are reusable,
Well,
that are way more expensive.
see, and this is what I was questioning. I was like, I'm surprised they didn't go to Goodwill and got shot glasses, because you can get a lot of shot glasses at Goodwill that probably would have even been cheaper than what she purchased.
Yeah.
And granted, I know he likes to use, unrecyclable
Mhm.
things, but how do you do that on a nonprofit salary? That's the other question.
Because remember, she making at least twice as much as him.
So I'm like, granted, you want
So
to do these things So you're going to have to find how to do this reasonable.
You can be principled with your budget. You can have principles with your budget.
With my budget.
So in my budget,
we need to get this price down. And yeah, maybe they will use these items again. But I was thinking, like, is this why you don't have a girlfriend? Because that would cause you have to spend money out and do things. Because I'm like, if you don't make this much money, you ain't having parties. You're not entertaining.
mm-mm.
Because you can't afford what it costs.
And I'm surprised he didn't go pick it up out somebody else's trash or something, since he's bringing everything else into the house because he doesn't want it to be thrown away. And then, like, her friend looks like Starbucks. And he made a snide comment. He's like, guess we didn't realize that there was no plastic in the future.
I'm like, this is my Starbucks. I pay for it. I can drink it out of anything I want.
Because Starbucks at least has gotten away from straw. They kind of minimized the straws.
They're using paper straws.
Yep. So they're doing some things, right?
And potentially you can have recyclable plastic.
Because we've used that cup before. If I, come home and I want to put some more water or something in it.
We have reused it. So
now, it's not sitting in my cabinet right now,
but he's not even looking at the opportunity that this is plastic that may not get thrown away.
Mm-hmm. So she's talking with her friends, and she says she's good with him except for his radical environmentalism. She's like, look, he's great, but all this stuff.
Well,
and that's kind of what we predicted too.
We predicted that, but also she gets it. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not saying anything wrong in this fact of this is how we can save our environment.
Right.
Because we didn't have all these plastics.
Right.
We didn't have the stuff that you throw away. Mm-hmm. Even with the Keurig, the inventor of the Keurig realized, oh my God, I created a footprint of waste.
Right.
And now trying to get away from some of those things. Mm-hmm. So she's not saying, she's not denying it, but at the same time, she's like, man, it could be costly.
Yeah. And she says she feels like she's walking on eggshells because she's like, what is he going to freak out about as far as with plastic? Okay, she's thinking when I go into my cabinet, now he's going to have a fit about that. When she goes to the grocery store, he's going to have a fit about that, right? So she's like, and her friends are like, you can't be the only one adjusting. He's going to have to make adjustments as well.
And give into some things and mm-hmm. find out that technology is getting really well about certain things mm-hmm. being more environmentally friendly.
Right. He's talking to his friends, I guess, and saying he can't sleep because that dog is snoring wide awake.
They even picked up the dog and started listening to him breathe.
It's just breathing. And he calls the dog useless. Now that I was like, He said the dog was useless.
I think in this case, you could compromise by getting earplugs. Like getting used to anyone who snores, especially if you've been single and you don't hear anything mm-hmm. or you can hear everything.
Yep.
Because he's like, I can't believe she sleeps through this every single night. He said, I wanted a woman who doesn't snore. She doesn't snore. She has a dog mm-hmm. that's keeping me up. I was like, get some earplugs.
Yep.
That's the way to treat that. Oh my gosh.
So later on when Krysten is with all the ladies, they're recapping and...
Oh.
Go ahead.
Are we done with their... Party?
Yeah, unless you got something else, yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice when they sat down to talk, they were talking to their own friends and family?
Yes.
I thought that was strange.
That was different.
I felt like it was necessary for him to talk to her friends to find out, like, hey, has she said anything? We're still working through some things and getting some insight about her.
That could be, and this is just a thought I had, it could be his anxiety. Because his family and friends know how to talk to him. And her family and friends are, could be looking at him like, So that may be the reason. But yeah, I did notice that was different than how we've seen the other family or, parties go.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Mm-hmm. And I would think, and maybe they did, but you would think they would capture at least his family talking to her like, How are you settling in? Look, don't give them back.
Do not send him back.
Don't send them back. Like,
Finders keepers, losers
right.
lose.
Like, stay strong. You can do this. Like, I would wanted them to give her some pep talk.
And by the way, we're moving. We're not telling anybody where we're going. We're escaping. He's yours now.
Right. Especially the sister-in-law, because she said she had the most conflict with him at the beginning. So, like, she could probably give him some more tips.
True.
Because, again, he was watching their kids. So, if she was using disposable diapers, how did the babies get changed? He was nannying.
Yeah.
So, how did that go over?
Lots of questions with that.
Because I would ask that. Like, if they want to have kids, so how did he handle your kids when we're talking about recycling, when we're talking about waste and stuff? Because what are we going to use?
Yep. Because I ain't washing them out by hand. All right. So then they do, the couple, or Krysten and Mitch, they go to meet with the other women and guys, right? So she's talking with the ladies in their section over there. And she's like, well, first of all, some of the other ladies were like, okay, how is it? Because when we left the island, when we left Mexico,
You the captain.
yeah, one, you the captain, and two, we wasn't feeling Team Mitch. Stasha was like, I was not feeling Team Mitch.
I was just waiting for the green light so we can unleash.
Right. But she says the marriage that she has now is definitely better than one she had in Mexico. So there's at least been growth.
I can see it on both of them.
Yes.
You know, they consummated a marriage, and she shared that.
And she's like, we've been consummating like rabbits
ever since, which is good because they're at a place where they feel comfortable enough to say, we want to make this work. We're trying everything we can to move forward. So at this point, I'm like, okay, everything is possible.
Yes.
So just keep moving forward.
Yep. So that's it. She thinks that it's a lifelong thing. So we'll see. Of course, we still got many weeks to go. So we'll see how things go.
Yep.
Make sure you check out the other videos of the other couples that we do. And we will see you next time. Have a great one.
Bye.
Be blessed.